My wife and I seldom plan things in advance. It seems like when we do, something always goes wrong. We prefer to kind of get up every day and decide that day what we want to do. And that's exactly what happened on September the 25th. We were puttering around the house and my wife says, "You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to take the kayaks and go catch some bluegill for the cat." So we loaded up the kayaks and away we went. I got my wife's kayak ready to go first, and she didn't hang around. She jumped in her kayak and headed up the river and left me behind. My wife has some breathing issues, so I put an electric trolling motor on her kayak and of course on mine too, and that makes it easier when we have quite a distance to paddle, which we did in this case. We fished about 2 miles up the river. It was 11 o'clock by the time we got on the water. The water was a little bit murky and the forecast was for the wind to come up sometime after noon. I'm not sure whether my wife likes fishing more or just running around in her kayak more. She likes to start out in front and make me follow behind. I guess you'd say it's two 70-year-old plus kids out playing water games. Like always, it doesn't take her very long to catch one. Put a strike indicator and a jig in her hand, and she will catch bluegill. The fishing was really kind of slow. My wife kept using her jig and strike indicator, but I started fishing deeper and deeper, and finally I was catching them at about 10 foot deep. But she still kept using her strike indicator because she doesn't like getting hung up.
Go up there where them logs are, where there's not as much wind, and I'll come up behind you. There ought to be a place there where you can fish.
As we were getting ready to go fishing this morning, we knew the wind would be blowing hard, but we were in a hurry to leave, and we went away and didn't get our anchors. It doesn't appear in these videos that the wind is blowing hard because we're behind some tall trees. But when you get away from this spot, the wind was very strong. The problem was that the protected area from the wind was not where we preferred to fish. Although it appears that I'm fighting a nice fish here, what has happened is that I'm actually hung up. But this gives me an opportunity to show you a new kayak paddle that I have purchased that has a slot cut in it. The purpose of that slot is to allow you to slide the oar up and down the line to get lures untangled from either under the water or in trees and so forth. Really works nice.
Look there. Picked that right off that log again. I gotta make one of those. I gotta make yours like that.
If you want your wife to totally ignore you, buy her a kayak, put her and the kayak both in the water, and she will pay absolutely no attention to you. When we first started fishing, my wife was using a strike indicator because she doesn't like getting hung up. It's her favorite way to fish. And I decided to fish deeper, trying to find out which way would work. Neither one worked very well, so I've added some crappie nibbles to mine. In my peripheral vision, I saw this gentleman in the boat coming by pretty fast, and I waved him on, because a lot of people feel like they have to slow down when you're in a kayak. As it turned out, it was a member of the Water Patrol out doing their job. He came by to check us out.
You know, we asked them that, and they said it wasn't. Is that something new? Yeah. I can probably move this better than you can move that. I can probably move over to you better than you can move to me.
Not only had my wife and I forgotten our anchors this morning, but we had also forgotten to get our life jackets. And of course, those are required on Missouri waters. But the officer was very nice, and he loaned us a pair of life jackets, but required that we would take them to the sheriff's office on our way home. The Water Patrol officer was a super nice guy, and my wife and I both thanked him for being out checking.
Man, here's a big one here.
You know, it's a strange thing. we were fishing the shallow side of the lake before the water patrolman came by. And while he was here, our boats all drifted over to the other side in the deeper water. And after he left, we started fishing here. And we're catching a lot more fish here. So we kind of wish that he would come by sooner. Get a hold of a nice channel catfish on 4-pound test line in the brush, and you got yourself quite a fight.
Here.
These video clips have got to be confusing to someone watching them, with my wife and I both taking pictures of the same fish. But what really happened was, in a 15 to 20 minute period of time, I caught one small channel cat and 3 really nice channel cat on about 10 casts. All of them were caught on 64th ounce jigs and 4-pound test line. It was quite a show.
White bass?
I'm going to cut grooves in my wife's kayak paddle similar to the ones that I showed you previously, so that she can get her lures unhung. Well, it was time to head in, but what a great day. We didn't catch a lot of fish early, but it picked up as the day went along. We forgot our anchor and our life jackets, which was a little bit of a problem. Part of the problem is that we have to go by the sheriff's office on the way home. But we kept 8 or 10 of those bluegills for the cat, and once again, what a great day.
Is that as fast as you can go?
I should have known better than to ask her if that was as fast as she could go.